Live.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ed.
And I'm Barb. And we're the Streeters. Right?
Right.
Okay. We're live, Ed. Huh? What?
Oh, well, hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Monday night, and it's 7 o'clock. Maybe 6:59 and some change.
Welcome to the RDRV channel where we teach, share, and chat all about stained glass. Sorry, we're kind of off. We couldn't really tell if we were live or not.
We are now. Been live for 34 seconds and counting.
So welcome, everybody. It's good. Everybody showing up. It's good to see everybody.
Yeah. Hope you had a great weekend. Everything's good in South Carolina. It's just hot as Hades again, but we're all getting used to that. That's why they call it the dog days of summer, because by the time you walk from your garage to your car, you feel like a dog.
Okay, so this week we've had a few questions, and we wanted to jump right in and talk about some of the questions we've had this week. And we've had the same question come up several times over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and that question is, how do I design my glass studio? And this is my space. So the question is, this particular person has a 10 by 10 area that they are turning into a stained glass shop. So the first thing you need to do is you want to draw your floor plan, okay? If you have a 10 by 10, go ahead and draw a 10 by 10 on your piece of paper, and then put your door where it is, put your window where it is. And then the next thing you need to do really is to place your electrical on the walls where it is. Now, I will tell you this. Most studios of that size, when we're in a room that's 10 by 10, most studios that size, your work table is in the center, because you need to be able to get all the way around that space. And then your wall space, your tables on your walls are for A, your light box, B, your grinding station or your wet area. So you might want to put that on the opposite side of your studio. Or if you're going to be doing a lot of different things production-wise, you may want to just put them right in line where they drop off onto your work table, and you put them together and get them out the door. Either way, start out with a floor plan, measuring your tables, knowing where your electrical is, making sure you have proper lighting in your little studio, because without it, and you know, the LEDs are so bright and energetic now. So just get some LED fluorescents for your, not LED fluorescents, LED fixtures for your ceiling in your glass studio, and light that bad boy up so you have no questions about what color your glass is or what color anything is, really. And Barb's got a few suggestions, because we've done this before.
Well, you said fluorescent lights, and I was thinking about how we've changed out all our fluorescents to LED. So if you've got the right size old fluorescent lights, you can change those out. They sell them on Amazon, and you have to get something, but cheap, runs cheap. It's cheap to replace. Gives you much better light.
Yeah, because
you'll really love it.
You know, when you take that old junky fluorescent fixture, there's a thing inside of that called a ballast. Well, you know what, y'all? When you change it over to LED lights, you take and you cut the wires right off the ballast, and that bad boy doesn't hum anymore and doesn't suck down the electricity. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're actually hardwiring your fluorescent fixture into a LED lamp. And I'm going to tell you right now, when we start working in the glass studio, you'll understand exactly what we're talking about, because we've installed LEDs in the back in lieu of our 8-foot fluorescent fixtures, and we love them.
And it saves you money on electricity, so that's a good thing too.
Yeah, anything you can save, you know, especially whether you're starting out or anything, you need to be able to, you know, always save money.
Yeah, talking about your space, rearranging your space, marking the electrical, measure before you set everything up. If you got the time, measure your tables, measure your storage equipment, and measure what space you might have left over where, you know what you need to look for as far as storage or work surface.
And you know what? You may be able to just take that simple room program that one of the big box stores has and lay out your 10 by 10. And instead of laying out your living room, you're laying out your glass studio.
Well, yeah.
Would that help, Barb?
Oh, yeah. I've used it before. There are free
design a space or whatever. Yeah.
On the website, and you can just rearrange, make all those tables the size of your tables, and it'll work perfect. That's better than moving everything around and not knowing if you're going to have the right size table.
And think about when you're building your tables, you want to think about your plywood, because plywood's very expensive right now. And we want you to think about that. With a 10 by 10 area, your workstations around the outside perimeter are going to be about 24 inches wide. And this is going to give you about 30 inches. And then your table, and then another 24 inches. And so that you can walk all the way around your workspace. So, hey, we're glad to see everybody tonight. Hey, and we want to give a big shout out tonight to the Anderson County Sheriff's Department. Thanks for tuning in.
Just They're watching us.
We thought we'd just give you a hi. And we appreciate you watching us.
Australia, we have a new subscriber from Australia, and they finally made it to the live stream. I don't know what time it is in Australia, but welcome. And we have people from all over the U.S. And we have people in the UK that tune in as well. Yeah. So welcome, everyone.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the time zone in Australia. Nighttime right now, maybe getting ready to tune in.
Okay, so is DAP 33 the same as 1012?
No. DAP 33 is a window glazing compound for wood sash windows, and the DAP 1012 is designed for steel sashes or just the old steel windows that are in schools and things like that. So.
Okay, so DAP 33. There is another one that you can use besides the DAP 33.
The 1012. You can use the DAP, but the DAP 33. The DAP 33 is easier to find. You can break it down with your lacquer thinner, pour your black paint in it and mix it up, and it will dry out the same. It's fine.
So you can use them both.
You can use either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the recipe that was given to me had the 1012. But we gave you the true recipe, and you can't find the 1012 that often. And usually when you do order it, it's like somebody like C.R. Lawrence or something like that, a glazing supply company, and they're going to sell it in 5-gallon pails. So the DAP 33 is fine to use for your glazing putty mixture. Thumbs up on that. Thanks for checking in and asking us about that.
Okay, and another question, what table size do you recommend? And you have to think about what size work.
What size work do you do? That would be the one thing. Now, this in our repair studio, because we've had to separate them. So we have a room that we just do repairs. In our repair studio, we have a table that is 32 by 64. Okay. 32 by 64.
Okay.
That's a repair table. Now, my work tables in the stained glass studio, I have a 4x8 that's in the center of my room, and I can get around both sides. Actually, I can get around all 4 sides of it. And then my tilt table for buildings that I build on stained glass windows is 39 and a half. Don't ask me how I came up with that. Is 39 and a half by 76. So that allows me to build 3-foot by 6-foot windows, or 3x3 or 3x4. It allows me to do a lot on that one particular table. Now that table, my tilt table that I use in the stained glass room is an awesome table, and I'm very proud to have it in my stained glass room.
What's that? The tilt table?
The tilt table.
Oh, the tilt table is awesome. We will show it to you when we're ready to do a flip. I may have that.
Yeah, and it's really,
and you can kind of see how it works.
It's simple.
If you're doing big windows.
It's simple. My good friend Don Dahlgren built that for us, and because we needed a way to flip these church windows that we do that are really quite of some size. So.
Okay. Jane says, She uses a sliding glass door for her light table, but it's heavy. So once it's there, you just leave it there, right?
Yeah, I would think so. But you know what? It's tempered safety glass. Number
So you're
one,
good.
you're good. And for a light, we used a dresser drawer for our first light box. So if that tells you anything, but using a patio door, yeah, it's probably heavy. If it's single glazed, it's not as heavy as it would be if it were dual pane. However, a frosted or fogged up insulated unit on top of your light box is really good light diffusion.
Yeah, and you can also put contact paper under it. You could put white paper.
Yeah, just regular craft paper that you have in your studio to draw your patterns on.
To diffuse that light.
And if you diffuse that light, you'll see the color will actually come to life a little bit because you're knocking down that brightness on the glass. And your lines will probably be easier to see because they're going to show up better. It won't be as much glare.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Feel free. Okay. It's 9:06 in Australia right now.
Having a cup of coffee, my friend. Good morning. Good morning.
All right. We had some questions last week about starting your business. So we thought we'd tell you the three top tips.
The first three things that you need to do. And, again, and we told y'all a long time ago, we don't pretend to know everything. We've been in business for 37 years, and we've worked out all the goofy things and things that people didn't tell us that we had to find out the hard way. So as we go through this process, we're going to let you know the things so you're not so surprised. And some of the things you're going to say, what? I promise you. We won't lead you astray. Go ahead, Barb. Right. We won't lead you astray. I promise you.
So the number one thing you need to do, and it's kind of two things. Take care. Call your city or your county. Find out if you need a business license. You don't have to tell them who you are or where you are or anything. Find out if you need a business license. And if you're taking it seriously, go ahead and buy a business license.
Sure.
It's a
simple thing, right?
You'll need to get a sales tax number if your state
charges sales tax. Some states don't have sales tax.
Yeah, some don't, so that's fine.
Yeah, the Commonwealths don't have.
Also, you probably want to get a federal ID number unless you claim your income under your personal as using
we
your
recommend separating the two.
Yeah, we recommend separating the two. So you want to get a federal ID number, and that all goes along with your business license.
And when you open your business checking account, right?
You'll need
the bank's going to want your federal ID number
if you open a business checking,
right? Or your Social Security number. I'm sorry.
Okay, but now you could just do it all personal, but that's up to you. Definitely meet with an accountant. Spend
$100.
They will sit down and advise you to what you need to do, probably without a fee. If you say, do I need it? I need to find out if I need an accountant. A lot of times they'll give you the first consultation and tell you how much it'll cost and that type of thing.
Right.
If not, just make some phone calls and find out how much it costs. $25, $100 just for a little bit of advice could save you a lot of headache.
A headache down the road. That's right. A little bit of advice from an accountant. And if you don't, things like they do things for you. If you want to pay them, they will do things like your sales tax every month. All you do is just write them a check. They'll do your payroll taxes every month for you.
And your other option would be to have them set up your QuickBooks chart of accounts. Unless you're familiar with accounting, you may need to find a friend that's familiar with accounting or knows a little bit about bookkeeping and get set up in that QuickBooks online program. You can do all your banking,
everything right there with QuickBooks.
And you can keep track of your expenses. When you go and buy something, take a picture of the receipt, and there you have it right there. So you keep your business expenses and your receipts and your income all in one little checking account.
Keep it separate from your personal stuff. You can't tell what you're doing unless it's separate. I just recommend keeping it separate. And then you're going to need to decide, and your accountant can help you out with this too, if you want to be a corporation or you want to be a limited liability corporation, which you see an LLC every now and then. That's a limited liability corporation.
Or an S corp.
Or an S corporation. This way, with an S corporation, you only pay taxes once rather than twice.
Sole proprietorship is also an option. So talk to your accountant about that. And based on your income and your needs, he's going to advise you. You know, that one consultation will go a long way when you're setting up your accounting system, because you know you had the advice from a professional. And then the third thing is that you need to write yourself a business plan. Don't get scared. Just go to sba.gov and go to SCORE. And they have free business plans online. They may have one for a glass company.
Or if they don't, at least you can fill in the blanks and kind of get the idea.
Easily take a template and change those words and change those numbers.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Just, it could be one page.
I will tell you this. I will tell them this.
Pages.
If you go to the bank and say, I've got this plan, and he asks for it, and you tell him it's in your head, you're not leaving with any money.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. You will not leave with any money. But if you write it down and show it to them and tell them and explain to them what's going on. You know, we had a banker one time tell Barbara that she had written the very best business plan he had seen in his entire banking history.
I don't know.
We left the bank with too much money that day.
I think he was trying to sell us a loan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He impressed me, and Barbara really impressed him, because
the reason you want a business plan is because you want to be able to jump when there's opportunity presented to you. If you have a business plan, you know what opportunities you want. And if that opportunity comes along, that's just one more thing you can check off your list.
Right.
So, you know, and that business plan is flexible. It can change as you change.
You can cross something out and write something in.
If you're not making what you
it's
want
not
to make,
going quite what you need to
change
do.
it. So don't be afraid
But follow
to do that.
it.
It's really,
Use it as a reference, right, Barb?
Yeah, that's
Use
right.
it as a reference, because you know it's in your own words.
Yeah.
And if you look at it enough, you're going to see that, oh my gosh, this is really well, that's not working right. Let's change that and go another direction with that. Oh, but this is working.
Mm-hmm.
This is working. So, and then you also have to keep in mind, depending on what scale of business you're going into, you're going to need some sort of a liability insurance. So you want to check with that. Those are usually based on your gross sales. So the first year, it's going to be relatively reasonable because you're going to be guessing at it. And then the following year, the insurance company will audit you, and then your billing will be adjusted accordingly. Ah!
That's too much information. I don't want that information.
I know. That's what I handle, all the insurances and everything.
Yeah, he shops for the insurance.
Have to.
Yeah.
You have to shop
It
around.
takes a lot of time, but I don't have the patience for that, but he does a great job at that. Saves us a bunch of money. So definitely shop for your business liability insurance.
Yeah. And, you know, back to the SBA, Barb, they have a division of the SBA, which is, of course, the Small Business Administration. It's called SCORE. Okay. And that organization called SCORE is in almost every community in the country. And SCORE is basically retired
Executives.
Fortune 500 executives, and not just Fortune 500, but retired executives who do this stuff in their sleep. And man, they are a wealth of information. And you know what? It's that favorite 4-letter word we all love: free.
Yeah. So contact your local SCORE.
Yeah.
And tell them about your business, and tell them you need a
help.
mentor.
Yeah, you need a mentor, and they will put one on you real quick.
And they will even help you
write
your business plan. Now, they're not going to write it for you, but they will keep you on track to get it done. So sometimes you need that, extra encouragement and that push to get things going. So, put aside an hour or two each week to think about your future and what you want to do. So then we'll circle back around. And once you get your expenses and your income and all that kind of situated, then you can start thinking about how you want to set up your pricing. So, we can talk about that later. But I will say that we basically have three prices. We have our price for cabinet doors, grids, simple grids,
yeah.
window glass, no color, maybe some lamp beige, or no borders, just a grid pattern, not diamonds, just a grid pattern.
Right.
That's our lowest cost. Then we'll go up next to a common window, a regular stained glass window, no painting, not tiny pieces,
not real intricate with a bazillion pieces of glass.
Real intricate, and that's one place. From there, we add for painting, we add for color, we add for glass that our customer definitely wants, although it may be extra because we have to order it.
Right, sure.
And
so
they have to wait.
Now they got to pay freight.
So so we have 3 price points, and that's based on our overhead and time.
Hi, Holly from Long Island. Thanks for tuning in.
That might be boring now. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk
but
about glass.
just for reference, basically painting's about $700 a square foot. Because you're doing 5, 6, 7 firings sometimes, and
so you would add that to your square, your square.
So you would take your square footage price for your window. Let's say let's just say the window's $1,250, but in the center there's a 12 by 10.5 painting of someone's dog or something that they want. Well, that painting, it's the cost of the window plus that $750 for that painting. When you do medallions for churches and everything, they are typically a medallion for a church is about, if you buy it wholesale, is still about $300. Mm-hmm. So, they're expensive, but they're beautiful. And if you hook up with the right company for your medallions for churches, you will you'll make an awesome friendship and a lifetime friendship.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, do we have any more questions?
Any questions? Well, if not, Barb, let's show. So we're gonna show you.
Yeah.
If you remember last week, we did the outline around the blue glass for the bird. So I just wanted to. I've got this. I grabbed this out of the kiln, and I just want to show you this.
You probably have to put it up there.
I'll probably have to put it up.
Yeah, we wish we could show you more of this.
Hang on. There we go.
Now, what does it look like on this side? Okay.
It's just dirty.
Okay. All right.
Where my fingers touch the paper. So anyway, you can see the blue up against my green
like
shirt.
The state of what?
The state of what?
I don't know.
Is that the state of what? So anyway, you can see we got this. It's a beautiful firing. The texture on it, there's very little brush strokes. So we're excited about that. And as you can see behind me, the green heron's on the wall. And we'll have another update. These should be, these should be stenciled by next week, I would think, and we'll be ready to start adding color. We should get 2 firings this week on the birds, and then we'll do some shading. And then, y'all, we're going to bring in the color, because remember, with the Rouché paints, the colors fire at a much lower temperature than the tracing blacks.
That's right.
And the bisque brown. So for the bird, once we get the bisque brown on there, that'll be the last high fire color that we have. So we did put the Rouché paints on our website.
Yes.
And they are pronounced Rouché.
And I have a link, and it will link you to the new company that is producing the Rouché paints. And that is the Schilling Company. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But that link will go right to them, and they've got the kits, and they've got every color. So we don't make any money on that particular link. We just know that that's a good paint, and that's where you get it direct from the company that
Yeah,
makes it.
and they have a little kit that comes with I think 3 brushes maybe, and some tracing black, some bisque brown. I don't know, but it's about $85,
Yeah,
and it's just
got brushes and everything.
Yeah, it's got a palette knife in it. It's even got a badger hair brush, a small one, but a badger hair brush.
So everything that we use in this project, except the color, will be in that kit. So I think, I'm not sure which color kit you have, but hopefully we can look at those.
Yeah, we have about
I'm not
28
sure which
colors
kit you have.
that we have. And I've just bought individual 1 ounce bottles over the years. So we have about 28 different colors. And which that doesn't even really get close to how many they have. We have about 28 different colors, plus our, what do you call it? Our silver stains.
Yeah, that's
and our blacks
amazing to
and
work
our
with.
browns. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we're excited about this project. Barb's getting ready now. Now that we've got the outline done, Barb's going to go ahead and get this painted and get it scratched off so we can fire it again. Hopefully we'll be firing on Thursday, because like they say in the directions, make sure before you fire your paints that it is completely dry. If you don't have enough time to make your paint, let your paints completely dry, get you a hair dryer and go on about it.
Last time when we did this project and we were filming it, we were, just filming it. We didn't even think about completely letting the paint dry before we put it in the kiln, because we were in the process of doing the video. So we're going to redo.
We're going to redo the big one tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. And then we're going to let it set all day on the light box where it's nice and cozy and warm. And then we're going to put it in and fire it tomorrow night.
We're going to do it correctly.
And we'll do it correctly, because you know what? Sometimes you get in a little hurry.
Okay. So, I had a question. I have 2 questions.
Okay, good.
Okay. Finish your sentence. You can finish your sentence.
No, I'm good. We'll have an update on our painting.
Where can you buy a light table that you can cut on like the one you use? That was a custom built by an employee.
Yeah, that was built by an employee. And but I will tell you this: you can get 1x4s or 1x6s and build a frame. Get a piece of glass, and they do make 24-inch and 36-inch LED lights for inside the box.
Buy your light first.
Buy your light first, then build the box, and make sure, and I really can't stress this enough, make sure that you get a piece of tempered safety glass from your glass shop. Have them order it for you. And if you can swing it with your budget, have them order a piece of tempered satin etch. And you'll thank me for that, because it's a diffuser. It's sandblasted glass is what it is. But
if you can't, you can use
if your spouse or your partner is pretty handy with a hammer and a screw gun and a drill, your light box is very simple, because really all it needs to do is be a box with a piece of glass on top of it so that the glass can't move. And you can cut a little notch in the bottom of the wood for the wire to come out for the light. It's very simple, and it'll get you going. Or if you have, say, this table right here, if I wanted to, I could put a light box on this end of it. First thing I'd have to do is cut a hole right out of the top of the plywood. And then I'd have to route it down and get a piece of glass that would fit in it. And then I have to put my lights underneath of it and illuminate it. I mean, I could do that, but it's just so much easier to take some 1x4s, screw them together in the corners and glue them so it doesn't move. Put some braces in there, and then order that piece of tempered safety glass from your glass shop. And you'll know that you're safe, and we'll know that you're safe, and then get to work.
Yeah, if you go to that website, if you go to RDRV on the ConwayGlass.com website, look at that Ruche link, go to that Ruche link, go to that company Schilling, and he has some tutorials on there. And at the very beginning of his tutorial, he talks about a light box and, what kind of lights to buy and all that. He's got some really good information as well. So you might want to look at that, but go to RDRV and then link up, and then you'll find out even more.
So, what's the question? How are we doing iridescent?
On the bird.
Oh, on the bird. Well, they make a blue green, and if we put the silver stain on the back side of it, we'll put the blue green color on top of it with the shading, and we should get that blue green iridescent color when the light comes through the back of it. It should work out just fine. We did some great big banana leaves in a home that we used to own at the top of the staircase, and I painted those with the blue green turquoisey paint, and it really turned out pretty.
Gorgeous.
Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was some of our first paintings.
Actually, Chris and you worked on that.
My nephew, yeah.
Very talented nephew of ours did those glass paintings. It was
very talented.
They turned out beautiful.
Oh man, he still draws. So always tell him to keep drawing, never stop drawing. If y'all could see the little pad I have beside me on my left hand, I am doodling and we're asking questions.
Mirror first. What does that mean? Mirror first. Kat said, Jane. She said mirror first. Does that mean put the silver stain on first? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, the silver stain goes on the back side. It never goes on the front.
I don't know.
If you look at stained glass windows on the outside of churches, you'll see the silver stain a lot of times on the full body or torsos of Jesus in the windows. That's how they make him really have a nice tan.
Oh, what brand name and color back foil do you use?
Venture.
We use Venture Blackback.
Venture Blackback. We use 732nd, but they make it from really thin to really thick. And if you do decorative soldering and everything, they make the scallop foil. They make a lot of different foils, and or you can make your own edge foil by using a pair of pinking shears.
Yeah,
that makes a pretty cool looking edge for a jewelry box.
Yeah, the thick foil you can trim with those special scissors that they sell.
Yeah, on the back. So the back of the bird, I show you the back of this bird, I'm not sure, you can't see it, but the back of this bird here will have his legs and his beak will have the silver stain on the backside, and then we'll come in with yellow, and then on his chest here, if you look up the Carolina Wren, this is all white here. So once we get our shading done and we take a light bisque brown on the back edge, the front edge is going to have paint. So it's
that's going to be nice. Yes. Some people have been talking about some other paints, and I did a little bit of research. I think they're a lower fire. Higher fire. Therefore, they would not work well for what we're doing. And so, experiment with whatever's out there, but this is just what we use. And
we've been using these paints since before we could paint.
Right. We had to learn a lot.
Yeah, we had to learn a lot.
When we were restoring windows, we had to really experiment with different processes for different
applications.
Yeah.
Because we are known for our restoration work and being able to make that window look exactly like it used to. So, your silver stains are always applied on the back, and they're one of the hot fires. So you can't, once you put the silver stain on the back, don't high fire anything else. You're done.
That's the last
that before you start adding color, the silver stain is the last process. And then you can add your color on the front,
I see.
and
what you're
then it
saying.
won't, the silver stain won't adhere to anything because it's not going to get hot enough to get tacky again. I'm
He
sorry.
gave
There's
me one of those looks.
there's a lot to learn.
Duh, me.
There is a lot to learn. And you know what? Like we just told you last week, even we messed up.
Joyce wants to know why we would use black back foil.
Well, because I wouldn't want to see copper through my clear glass
Or silver.
or silver. And the other thing is that I've found is that black back foil creates a shadow on everything that's perfect for it. And the other thing is over the years, I found that the black back foil is stickier than
I think so.
than the rest of it. It's just me, but black back foil is used on everything that we do, everything.
And we found it to be stickier, but you try it, see what you think.
And you even put black back foil around the edge of mirror, because what does it do? It creates a black shadow, and it's done.
Yeah, that makes it nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it much nicer, much nicer. Copper. Anytime you can hide the copper color, you really should. I don't. I'd much rather use black back, and it is stickier.
Okay.
So we love doing copper foil, and we had about 30 of you take our little questionnaire.
Questionnaire. Most of you do copper foil.
Copper foil, yeah,
What
which was
it?
awesome to find out.
68% maybe. I didn't check it before we went online, but most of you are doing copper foil. So congratulations. I applaud you because it's.
And a percentage of you has not switched to lead cane, but has become to doing both rather than just one, which is awesome. Expand your horizons, learn both methods, because remember, guys and gals, you can incorporate both methods in one window and make that window yours.
I think that copper foil is a great way to transition into lead because, and I'm not saying you would want to transition, but I'm just saying that the copper foil method teaches you to cut glass because you have to have that glass cut perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
You bet. So by doing copper foil, you've learned to cut glass extremely well. Yeah. So when you switch over to lead caming, it is not going to be a burden. It's going to be a blessing.
If you're doing big windows and you need that stability, you're going to want to transition to lead cane, at least partially lead cane, part, copper foil.
Sure.
Just for the structural integrity
of
your window.
Itself. Yeah.
So as you move on to possibly doing church windows or larger windows, lead cane would be a good thing for you to learn. So
right. And keep in mind, if you repair a window, pay attention to how that window was built. Pay attention to what the artist was thinking. You can see it. It's in every window. It's in every window. The artist, what they were thinking, how they did their work. It's all right there. And it's so, oh man, it's just really interesting to take a window apart and put it all back together again and just make yourself part of that process.
You're talking about the old church windows. You're not talking about the window
that John Doe built down the street and Martha bought it.
No, not that window. We're talking about the old church windows. Yeah. Taking them apart and putting them back together is a learning experience.
Well,
so don't start on anything too precious.
It teaches you how to run your lead lines as well.
Yeah.
You can I've taken large stained glass windows, Barb, and you've seen me take a razor knife and just cut the top right out of the lead on the whole window and lift it up, pull it off, and then you can pop the glass out. But more than anything, what you have is a skeletal remains of a 100-year-old stained glass window. And that is just really awesome because now you know exactly how to put it back together so that it looks like the other 11 that are in the church that didn't get destroyed.
Well, you'll have to show that to us in a
I will. I
video
got
at
one
some
coming
point.
up.
Oh, you do have. We do have one coming
Got one
up.
coming up.
Yeah. Complete
A
restoration
complete redo
of a window
Yeah.
that we did about 20 years ago.
The glass got here today.
Okay. So
It took
we'll be
3
doing-
months to find the colors that I needed.
Yeah,
so.
we're making progress on that one.
Sometimes they
as
just
well.
don't understand.
So any more questions you want to ask us? I think someone asked last week how we got started. What solder iron do you use? Weller?
I use a Weller soldering iron. I every now and then you can find them on Amazon. It's
I have it on the RDRV.
It's on our RDRV, but the other soldering iron that I like to use is just called, it's 100-watt Woody. It's a $26 soldering iron that will last you forever as long as you're using a rheostat. Comes with a 1/4-inch chisel tip, and it's just a really nice iron for soldering and moving along pretty quick. My Weller iron that I like
Smaller
to
tip
use
on the
is
Weller?
much smaller, a little bit smaller, but it's also, this iron used to be called and go under the name brand of Unger, Unger. It has the tip that unscrews out of the element itself. The tip is the element, and you screw it in. So they have those on, they're made by Weller now. They're not called Unger. They're made by Weller, and they're 100-watt iron. And those are the two irons that I prefer in my studio. Micah makes a pretty decent iron, but I prefer to use the red Weller that used to be the Unger, and also my 100-watt Woody.
And the great thing about that Weller is it's really lightweight. So if you're doing a lot of soldering, the lesser weight.
Yeah, it's only about 6 or 7 inches
makes
long.
a big
It's not very
difference
big.
if you're, soldering, a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours a day. You need that lightweight
And
soldering
it is the iron of choice for doing copper foil, for running beads. I wouldn't use anything else but it, really. I like that iron.
We also, on the website, on the RDRV channel, we have I believe it's on there. I found a Weller soldering station, and it has the rheostat and the iron holder and the little thing to clean your iron.
Your sponge, everything.
there, everything right there. I haven't used it before, but it looked like a pretty good
It's a
deal.
Weller soldering station. It's really nice.
Weller, and I think it was digital. I think that's what it was. It was digital, so you could look at your temperature and see what if your temperature was right. So if you're working in an area, it gets colder during the day, you might need to crank your temperature on your iron up. I don't know.
I don't know, but
Are
you got to do.
am I boring you?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm probably boring them too.
No, I'm sorry. I had a yawn. I had a yawn.
Trish Power. You're welcome, Trish. Any more questions?
Yeah, I like the soldering iron. So check those out. And if you are, doing.
Inside advice you'd give yourselves. Insights, advice you'd give yourselves when you started. Live below your means. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and the other thing is it don't happen between 10 and 2.
When we first started, we struggled for about 3 years, and then Hurricane Hugo came through, and our business went crazy. And
that was in 1989, yeah.
And so we opened up another company, branched out, grew big, enormous.
We went big.
Oh
gosh,
we went fast. And then when the recession came, we weren't prepared for it. So that would be the lesson. I would say live below your means. Don't, don't spend all your money. Put some back.
And it doesn't happen between 10 and 2. It really doesn't.
And, I've learned a lot about, pay your taxes,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
If you don't get behind on your taxes,
that'll save you a ton
and
of money.
if you can't pay your taxes,
you're either paying yourself
too much or you're not making any money, one or the other.
Well, if you can't pay your taxes, your employee taxes, you've got too many employees.
Right.
That was a bit of advice that was given to me by our attorney. If he said if you cannot pay your payroll taxes, you have too many employees. So, that's a hard lesson to learn. So,
right.
And I don't know if that helps.
If you do have employees, don't be their friend.
That's not very nice.
No, be a good friend. Just be a friend.
Be a friend, but just don't meddle in their business.
Yeah, and you know what? And don't let them meddle in yours. And never, ever give anybody a key to your building but you. Otherwise, you find they're there.
If you want to know all the bad things, I'll tell you the pros.
I'm going to tell you the pros. I'll tell you the cons.
I'll tell you all the positive things. He'll tell you all the negative things. That's the way we work.
Oh, gosh.
What is the difference between 60-40 and 50-50? Melting temperature.
That's it. Melting temperature. The amount of tin that's in the solder. And you'll find out 50-50 is
Cole.
Much more flexible.
Cole said the pandemic was quite a curveball. And yes, it was. And you know what? We're going to be ready this next time if we have another, I don't even want to say the words, but be prepared. Be prepared. Live below your means, and
if
you may need to be more flexible in the way you do business. We'll get through this, no doubt. We will, because we've learned.
I have I have every doubt in my mind that we will get through this. It's not going to be a matter of whether we get through it. It's just a matter of when.
I know. So our retail store has been closed since March
14 months
of 2020. So, and longer than that.
17 months, y'all.
So we were considering opening again for a couple months during the Christmas season, but in South Carolina, our rate of infection has gone up 54%. So we're really kind of, any recommendations on places to get flash glass without taking out a mortgage?
No. I don't.
Yard sale? Somebody doesn't know what they have?
Doesn't know what they have. That's the only thing, because
we have saved every little piece.
I have 5 sheets of cobalt blue on clear that are 28 by 30.
50-50.
And yes, you would have to take out your mortgage.
50-50 melts faster. It's the temperature. It's not the faster melt.
No, it's just the lower temperature. The 60-40 melts at a lower temperature. Let me think. Hang on. Getting me all messed up. I must be hungry. 50-50 melts at about 455 degrees, and 60-40 melts at about 475 degrees. About 20 degrees more. But if you're using lead, that 20 degrees will melt your lead. So what you do is you put the same solder in your studio all the time, and I just use 50-50 for everything. 60-40 solder, you have to melts at a higher temperature, which is going to could cause your lead to melt if you don't get the temperature right. The other thing is that 50-50 is more flexible than 60-40. 60-40 is stiffer.
Yeah, so you don't want to use the 50-50 in your copper foil work if you're doing big windows. You want that 60-40. But we use both. So we use the 50-50 because we can't be going, saying,
Can't be going back and forth.
This is that. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
So 50-50 if you're using both or just using lead.
Well, it's like having Moretti or Pyrex. One or the other, not both.
Okay. And so I don't know if we have any more questions.
Oh, I don't know, but I know solders, Barb, remember we used to buy a 50-pound box of solder for $125. Remember that? Back in the day.
Thank you, Risk. We appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
if you have any questions, just pop them down in the chat box and we will take a look at them and answer them. If we know the answer, if we think we know the answer, we'll attempt to answer it. And if we said it wrong, somebody chime in and give us advice.
Yeah, and
'Cause
if
we don't
we're
know
wrong,
everything.
We don't know everything. That's right. Not at all. Not at all. And even after being in this industry for 43 years, still learn something every day, don't we?
Yeah.
Like today, I learned if you got all your paperwork, you get your driver's license with the star on it, baby.
That's in South Carolina.
That's in South
Now
Carolina.
I can fly.
Now I can fly. And it was really quite easy. The only thing that was very disheartening in the DMV here in Conway today is I walked in and I was the only one wearing a mask except for this little 16-year-old boy that was getting ready to go take his driving test and his mom. And, and then on the way out, the gentleman was putting his mask on. I said, "You're going to need that in there." He said, "Yeah, I probably do. I haven't been vaccinated yet." And I thought to myself, "Oh, I'm glad I'm the one that's leaving."
I know.
Because there
It's a
were
shame.
40 people in there with nothing on, and here comes your unvaccinated, my friend, giving it to you.
So,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we're worried here in South Carolina. I hope you're
We're-
living in a state or a country that is doing a lot better than the state of South Carolina. I think our county is number one in the state for
Yeah.
rate of infection.
When
or
you
the
look at
number
the
of
when you
people
look at the
being
colors of the
infected.
country, we're in the big red again. So
We're
anyway.
worried.
Our retail store has not been open for 17 months. We have had to change our business, just like everyone else.
I had to take my business plan out, and I found it.
Scratch through it and add
Scratch
to
through
it.
and add to it. And I'm still working on it because we have
Yeah.
a whole new business plan and whole new revenue streams we've got that we're adding to our business to make up for the walk-in traffic and the classes on one-on-one classes that we used to have represented.
Greetings from Argentina.
Greetings.
Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. It's a thumbs up. If we can, and if you have any questions, just out of curiosity, do you have trouble getting supplies or glass supplies in Argentina, or even
What time is it in
and
Argentina?
what time is it in Argentina?
That's what I want to know. Because it was 9:30 in Australia, 9:30 a.m. And I'm trying to think Argentina, that would be.
Well, they're in the southern hemisphere,
So
they're probably,
probably-
I don't know how many hours setback it is. It's probably they're going to be fall into Rocky Mountain time.
right.
Time doesn't fall away when you head south, only when you go east and west.
So that's what I was trying to figure. Are they in the same?
They're on the same plane as Colorado, probably,
I
in
don't know.
Argentina,
I don't know. Okay.
I believe.
Here it is
10:52 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
10 o'clock. So you're,
That's not too late.
yeah, you're 3
Thanks for
hours ahead
watching.
from us. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.
And so if you have any questions, just put them in the comments or in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them. We went through a couple different things about business, starting your own business.
Yep.
So if you want to follow along with our tips, we'll be presenting a few tips every week for you. We have some special things coming up. I don't want to be a tease or anything like that. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff, but hopefully by next week I can get it all together.
Yeah. So anyway, Barb's having some hats made that are really cool.
I have some hats
Artie
made,
RV
too.
hats, and we'll be giving those away.
Yeah.
So we'll have some questions,
tools.
and they're not going to be easy questions, but they are going to try your glass skills. And
so we hope to introduce a little contest soon into the live stream so y'all can win some stuff.
yeah,
So we're working on it.
we're working on it. So we enjoy doing this. we enjoy talking with and mingling with everyone at night. And
Okay, Risk says, and what?
well, I just caught that about people are moving away from the fusibles. Well,
No, they're moving away from non-fusible. I think the only person that has done that is the Spectrum that I know of. Maybe the other company, or the other companies doing it besides Spectrum Oceanside?
Spectrum Oceanside is doing fusible only. I believe Bullseye is switching too. It's kind of like that.
Oh, well,
It's
yeah,
like the thing I
easier.
just said. You either have Moretti or Pyrex. You don't have both.
Makes it simpler for
Makes
them.
it simpler because fusible glass, all it is more expensive. It cuts the same, it looks the same, and they can reproduce it. And they only have to keep one clear tank brewing. Okay. Think about it, y'all. System 96, or what used to be System 96, required a clear tank of compatible glass.
Separate from the regular.
Separate from the regular Spectrum glass, okay? And so wouldn't it be much easier to run 1 or 2 tanks instead of 4? It's going to be a lot less expensive, and your production will increase and your cost will decrease. Guess what, y'all? Smart business decision. They're making money. So
that's something you want to look at. When you're looking at expanding your business, what is your most profitable item? So think about everything that you do. What is your most profitable item?
It might be a widget. That's a round widget. But if it's profitable, think about
that's going to fund your business. That one item could be what's going to fund your business. And then you can do, other things. But yeah, find out what your most that's what these glass companies have done. They said, okay, we're making money here, we're losing money here. Let's get rid of this loss and let's just stick with the fusible Bullseye. I think people are getting more artistic with their work. They're combining stained glass with fused glass. And so they're thinking the same thing. If I'm buying fused glass,
why would I want to mix it up? Once I buy fused glass and I put it over here, then I got modeled glass and I got to put it over here. Why don't I just buy fusible modeled and keep it right here in the middle?
Easier for the stained glass artist.
Sure. Think about it.
But the only thing is we're going to be paying more money for our glass.
And that cost, don't fret. Don't fret having to pay more for your glass. You pass the cost on to your customer. They understand. And you're talking, cents on a dollar. But like if we have a 13% increase on float glass and fabrication for our shower doors and everything, 13% it is right back into the computer. I can't afford to pay for it and give it to them. So you just add it into your costs and just go right on and move right on. It's the cost of doing business, right, Barb?
That's right. The thin spec on the Bullseye is not the same color. Because it's blown out. So you will see a change in the reds and the purples and the blacks because it's thinner. So
the Bullseye thins, you got to be careful too. If you're gonna be fusing them, all you got to do is get 2 degrees over where it's supposed to be, and it shrinks up.
It's super important to have great drawing skills to paint on glass, or can you get it with time? Okay, so drawing skills. You don't need drawing skills to paint on glass.
No, what?
Go ahead.
Well, what we're going to tell you is that, over the years, I have drawing skills, and there's skills for certain things. However, Barbara and I have a gentleman that works with us who is an artist as well, and does the North Carolina Wildlife Festival poster each year, which includes fish and birds. He also in South Carolina, down near McClellanville, we have a Birds of Prey museum. Our good friend Phillip has done the Birds of Prey poster for that facility, and they sell that poster to raise money for the Birds of Prey museum, which is awesome. So, when Phil and I just took him, I had just a quick sketch I had just a quick sketch of the two birds that I wanted. And I thought and Phil was over here the other day because we were working outside putting in shower doors. So I asked Phil to take the sketch and I wanted him to shade everything in because this Carolina wren is not only brown, it's black, it's white, and it's got a little cream colored beak on it. So what I wanted Phil to do was highlight all of this for me so that it was less expensive for me to pay Phil to do it than for me to take the time and learn a different technique of shading just so that I could paint. So now this gives me everything that I need to paint this bird, scratch it off, create his feathers, and make him just an awesome piece of glass for the oak tree project.
So let's give a big shout out and thank you to Phillip Worth for doing these drawings for our stained glass oak tree project.
Right.
Thank you very much, Phil. We really appreciate it. Oh, by the way, Phil owns All Star Screen Printing of
In
Conway,
Conway,
South Carolina, and he has a Facebook page. If you want some t-shirts, just go to his Facebook.
T-shirts or hats, and just tell him Barb and
All-Star
Ed
Screen
sent you.
Printing.
All-Star Screen Printing in Conway, South Carolina. Get in touch with Phil. Thanks, Phil. Because of course, we've been friends with Phil now for about 20 years, I guess,
think so.
25 years.
And how come you're the same height as me on the camera?
Because I'm sitting in a smaller stool.
Are you?
No, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
Your
I'm
torso,
growing.
and I'm shrinking. Barbara's torso is the same size as mine.
I don't think that's so.
I don't think that's so. And I'm a little bit leaned over, relaxing. We're both wearing green tonight.
I guess it's that kind of day. All right. So, do we have any more questions?
Any more questions?
And I think that.
Thanks for tuning in tonight from Argentina, from Australia, from the UK, and
From
everywhere.
the Sheriff's Department in Anderson.
Hey. That's right. Yeah.
And everyone from Florida to California to Colorado. We welcome everyone.
And everywhere.
And even more states than that.
Yeah,
thank you for watching and thank you for everything.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And remember, right up there above that thumbs up is the bell.
Oh my God.
Don't forget to ring our bell. And you'll know next time we have a live talk, and which is next Monday night at 7
that little
p.m.
bell beside the subscribe, you got to kind of go up and hit the little bell.
If you hit that, it'll ring it and let you know.
It doesn't ring; it just lets you know.
It's just a reminder. That's all it is. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So anyway, we'll have some more on the painting for you for next week. We should have something very interesting for you to look at next week. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Think of your questions, write them down, and type them to us next Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I've been trying to get to questions as they come up, and I really apologize if I haven't. There's more and more questions come in every week. So if I don't get to your question, make sure you come into the live stream and ask, because I could miss a question, and I apologize.
But as far as recommending a table size, make the table according to what size work that you build.
A lot of thank yous. Good vibes.
Thanks, Gene. Good to see you.
You too.
Yeah, good vibes to everybody. Here we go.
Everyone.
Good vibes.
Happy cutting.
Yeah, happy cutting.
And
happy soldering. And remember, if it gets a little bit crazy while you're soldering, turn your iron off. Get up, go for a walk around the kitchen, whatever.
Take some deep breaths.
Go back in, turn that iron on, and whip that Windows rear end. Go.
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah, sometimes you just need a little break. So anyway, thanks again, y'all. And you know what? We really appreciate it.
We love you guys.
See you soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for everything.
We really appreciate it.